Hello everyone, this is Aditi Singh Chauhan back again with my new video about business communication. So before we begin, let us understand what is communication. Communication is the process of exchanging messages or information between two or more parties. In this video, we are going to understand the meaning of business communication, the process of business communication, and the barriers of business communication. Along with it, we will understand how we can transform our business English from basic English to business English. So let us start. Fundamentals of communication. So here, first, we are going to understand what is the meaning of communication. Communication is an exchange of facts, ideas, opinions by two or more persons. According to Keith Davis, the process of passing information and understanding from one person to another, it is essentially a bridge of meaning between the people. By using the bridge, a person can safely cross the river of misunderstanding. So we can say, effective communication plays a very important role in fulfilling the needs and contributes significantly to the organization's success. Good communication skills help individuals effectively interact with others in the organization. So let us understand. First of all, let us understand with the forms of communication. There are four main forms of communication: non-verbal communication, verbal communication, speaking and writing, and listening. So let us understand with the first, communication. Non-verbal communication is a primitive form of communication that does not involve the use of words. It rather uses gestures, cues, vocal qualities, spatial relationships to convey a message. So non-verbal communication, when combined with verbal communication, it makes a presentation more effective and it has greater impact on the audience. Let us discuss the kind of non-verbal communication. First one is the personal appearance, which states first impression is the best information. Second one is the vocalics, which involves the tone, volume, rate, pitch, and inflection. And we are going to discuss in details about all these non-verbal communication in my next videos. Third one is the kinesis. It involves the body gesture, eye contact. So whatever the movement, body movements that we are doing, and these all are also a part of our non-verbal communication. Next one is the proxemics. It talks about the space and the distance that we are going to maintain while communicating to the people. It can be intimate, personal, social, or public. Next one is the haptics, which depends upon the touch, holding the hands, hugging, kissing, and so on. Sixth one is the chronomics, which is based on time. There are two types of chronomics, monochromic and polychromic people. Mono means that we're talking about when a person is doing and communicating a normal verbal communication at only one point of time. And polychromic is when people are simultaneously communicating with lots of people. We will discuss in details in the next chapter. And the seventh one is the artifacts. How we dress up ourselves, what kind of clothing we are wearing, what kind of jewelry. Let us discuss the next. Verbal communication. Verbal communication involves the arrangement of words in a structured and a meaningful manner, adhering to the rules of grammar. The message is then conveyed to the audience in either spoken or written form. So it is the use of words to share the information with the other people. Okay, how we speak with confidence, what kind of body language we are using, what is the art of listening, and how friendly we are. Let us discuss the next form of communication. Listening. Equal importance should be given to listening and expression. Oral communication cannot be effective unless the audience is good at listening and most of its content is forgotten after the presentation. So developing a good listening skill is essential for grasping the content of an oral presentation and retaining them. So what is listening? It means decoding and interpreting the sound correctly. So it is not only hearing, but something more than that. It is a process that refers to the physical act of receiving sounds. Thus, hearing is a physical process and listening is both physical and mental. And last is the speaking and writing. Effective verbal communication involves both speech and writing to transmit a message. Written communication is necessary for reaching a large number of scattered recipients. So depending on the situation and the requirements, businesses use both spoken as well as the written channels of communication. It can be presentational, it can be interpretative, and it can be interpersonal. Let us understand the process of communication. The communication goes through a process which involves some phases. So the phases are divided in such a way that there is a sender, there is a channel, there is a receiver, and at last there is a feedback. So hence we can say that communication is an interpersonal process of sending and receiving the messages between two or more people. Who is sender? He is the person who is responsible for encoding or sending the intended message into meaningful verbal and non-verbal symbols. Channel. The channel of communication is the medium through which the message is conveyed from sender to receiver. Writing, speaking, video, or audio. There can be any mode of channel. Receiver. He's the person who decodes or interprets the meaning of message in order to understand. And at last, this reverses the communication process and conveys the receiver's response back to the sender. Now, with the process, there are some barriers to communication. Barriers of communication can be in the form of involving some words, involving the people's background, or some physical barriers. When we are talking about some words, it can be in the form of language, disorganized messages, ambiguity, or the information overloaded. Barriers involving people's background, it can be attitudinal, it can be demographic, it can be lack of perspective, or jumping into the conclusions without trying to understand the information. And there can be some physical barriers. It is again dependent on the attitudinal differences, demographic differences, and the lack of common experience. I hope the process and the barrier to communication is understood. Let us understand how we can transform our basic English into business English. Why we should learn business English? Because it's very important to communicate professionally at a place of work. It helps us to grow in our career, and with the good communication skills, we can have a good leadership qualities. So improving the communication skills, it means that it is the most essential tool that we are going to be utilizing it in the corporate world. So we have to speak fluently and use the correct words. Let us take an example. Here, there are some examples with some words that we use in our normal life. And when we use it at a place of work professionally, in a formal way, the way of using the words and sentences changes. Let us take with some examples. Say if I say, I got your mail. So instead of got your mail at place of work, we will use I have received your mail. Next example is I need your help. So here what we will use? I require your help. Third one, Can we talk about this thing later? So at place of work, what your boss will say? Can we discuss this thing later, please? Get in touch. This is quite informal, but at a place of work, you will use the word, please contact me. Make sure. So instead of make sure, we will use, can you ensure this thing? Next is, what are your travel plans? Give your travel plans. So instead of that, we will ask, can you please provide your itinerary? Here it means it's a piece of paper or a document and you will fill some information about your travel plans. So it's quite formal and it's documented. Let them know. So instead of let them know, we will say, can you please inform? Next one is tell why. So instead of tell why, you will say, can you please explain me what's the matter? And next one is talk more. So instead of talk more, we will say, can you please elaborate? Can you please speak more? And at last, fix this problem. So instead of fix this problem, we will say, can you please solve this problem? So if you really like this video, please subscribe my video and hit on the bell icon for the further notification. In my next video, I'm going to communicate about the non-verbal communication and some more concepts of business English. Thank you.